So everyone, this is Dr. BU. BU is for Be Ultimate, being the ultimate version of you. And what we're talking about is Gentleman 101, which is his own organization that he has that mentors young men. But before we talk about Gentleman 101, I want to know from you, why haven't you properly congratulated me for the Longhorns win? What are we doing?
Oh, well, congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. And we've been friends up until now because just yesterday is when I found out that you had a thing for Oklahoma. And I'm like, I don't even know. That's not even like a real place. What are we doing?
Is that not a real place?
That's
Wait a
not a
minute.
real place. It's not past Broken Bow. What are we doing, sir? You are from Texas.
Yeah, but there's a love there. There's a love.
Oh. Fun times. Everybody,
Okay.
please welcome my good friend, Dr. BU, with Be Ultimate and Gentleman 101. Woo!
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. I'm a low-key jealous of you right now because you are not here on the mainland. You are a couple of hours away. Tell everybody where you are.
I am on Oahu, Hawaii.
Man,
Yes.
say, how can I be like you? I sure would like to, because that's it's hot up here in Texas. Man, I'm just jealous all day. But I am so happy that you had an opportunity to just jump on here with me and have this conversation
Yes.
and just talk about all the incredible things that you do in the world. So, one of the things that I know about you is that you are also very much a mental health advocate. And I love that you do this. You specialize in men and helping support men. So, tell us all about the origin story. How did BU even come about? How did you come up with the name Dr. BU?
Well, it means be ultimate. That's the be ultimate brain. And there's a verse in the Bible that speaks on greater works you shall do. And Bishop Donnell Dixon, mentor at the time, he was always used to say, maximize the office you're in, maximize your life, maximize. And every time when I would see that scripture, I would think about that. Greater works you shall do. But how can you know the greater work if you don't know yourself?
Hmm.
So you have to do what it takes to maximize. And maximizing is understanding who you are, handling what I call the reveal, deal, forgive, then heal. And
Yeah.
that's forgiving yourself and forgiving others, the two-way street. So I had to go through that myself. Can't talk about something that I haven't been through.
Right.
The good, the bad, the ugly, even the ugly parts of the process of healing and addressing. And that's where the maximizing it is not one dimensional, is in every aspect or every dimension of your life. For us
Hmm.
as men, as fathers, as the man first. And
Yeah.
if you are married, that husband, that father, that friend, co-worker, businessman, whatever the case may be, even if you are in ministry as a person, as a community leader, whatever it is that you're doing, it all starts off the basis is with the man in the mirror.
Right.
And if you're not happy and pleased with him, then you need to do what's necessary to get to that point where you are happy. You can love yourself, but do you like yourself?
Mm.
You wake up every day saying, it's got to get better than this. Then what do you need to do to get better?
Right. Right.
At what point do you start focusing on yourself? I had one day, I was in my 40s, and at the time I was married. And I said, I've been living my life for everybody else. It's time for me to start living for myself.
Hmm.
And consciously, I'm so used to being a help,
Yeah.
helping people. But then I was neglecting myself. And I saw myself, now I don't celebrate my accomplishments. I wasn't doing any of those things. It was almost like on autopilot. I'll accomplish one thing, on to the next, accomplish something, on to the next. I never took that break to say, Bernard, you're doing a good job. You did a great thing. Or I'm proud of you. How many times have you looked in the mirror and actually said your name and sincerely told that person, I'm proud of you? Not many times did I do that. So I can imagine the many times many of us as men saying, I'm proud of you. But we can look at ourselves and ridicule, take on everyone else's feelings, their disappointments, their not meeting expectations. And we take all those to heart, and we're carrying all this weight, and it's causing anxiety, mental anguish, hypertension, all type of issues within your body because you're not addressing what's going on mentally and emotionally. The two most important parts of your soul, your mind and your emotions. So so it's, for me, those two, they need to be in alignment, because the will happen, but I gotta have the mental space, and I gotta have, my heart needs to be in the right place. I gotta have a clean heart.
Yeah.
Especially when it's to myself. So that's where it all came from, is bringing all those elements together. And it's not a quick thing, or it's not a time when you just complete. It is a lifetime work. So I believe in being a lifetime learner.
Yeah.
Every dimension of life, and even each stage of my life, I got to relearn myself. Like now, it's in between. My son he's getting ready to graduate high school.
Man.
He's already in college. Now he's becoming this young adult. So now I have to understand who I am in this moment in his life as a father. And then when he decides to marry, then I got to discover who I am in his life as now being the father in this aspect, because I can't speak with him and talk with him as he was when he was younger and in high school.
Right.
So it's all about understanding yourself and building yourself, relearning yourself, and being pleased with yourself, addressing yourself. That makes any sense.
So be ultimate.
Right.
Being the ultimate version of you. I love it. Okay, so then when we jump into the Gentleman 101, I will say this. In one of our very first conversations, what was that, maybe a year, almost 2 years ago? I'm not sure.
Right.
But I remember saying to you how frustrating it is to hear guys get on these huge major platforms and address women. Like there are just so many different prolific speakers who have found a niche, a very marketable one at that, on teaching women how to grab the man and to keep the man and to please the man and all of that kind of stuff. And while that has its place, it doesn't really work if no one is cultivating manhood in the man, right? So I could have done all of the things and have become all of the things, read all of the books, followed all of the influencers, and then end up with a deeply wounded, unchecked, toxically masculine man. And then I still feel like I'm not enough because nobody has invested in mentoring the man. So when I was bringing that to your attention, we're just randomly talking about stuff. And you said, well, actually, I do that. And I'm like, who is this dude? Who am I talking to? Who is the guy? Every time I bring up something that I just kind of wild thoughts, he mentions how there's some vein of his life that taps into that. So I would never forget that. And of course, as I wanted to revisit transitions with Dr. Tam, I definitely wanted to incorporate how there are people who are investing in people in some of the ways that might not be as popular, And so talk to us about Gentleman 101, because I just think that is so cool. Go for it.
Okay, Gentleman 101 is more than just being cordial, manners and opening doors and doing those things that's the physical part.
Yeah.
It also goes just hand in hand what I was talking about earlier, addressing yourself, understanding yourself, knowing that you as a man there are some parts of you that you need to really focus on in your rescuing the boy.
Yeah.
Because the rescuing of the boy affects how you are with other people, and especially the opposite sex, the women.
For sure.
So if you don't know how to communicate with, and for me, I was fortunate growing up with 5 sisters. You got
Yes,
a
you
kind of
are.
cheat code, a little cheat code right there, with communication, conflict resolution. And I think that's the biggest point, is the conflict resolution. We could talk about how to go out and chill, go eat, all these things. But when it comes to reasoning, and when it comes to understanding how to communicate with your fellow brother, your colleague, and women, this is one of the areas for many men that is a weak area. Understanding that, and I get it, we in this age where it is the war of the roses, so to speak, and online it is very loud. But even with that, you have to have that filter of understanding of, what do I take in? What spiritual food do I need to eat as a man?
Yeah.
And how do I need to, it's like, where do I even start at becoming a gentleman? Because every man is not developed to be a gentleman. Now, you're developed to be a man. You understand what it is to be a man. You understand what it is to have life skills.
Yeah.
You understand what it is to be responsible financially, those who are. And you understand what it is to be a worker and all these things, and how to be on time and everything. But becoming a gentleman and understanding that it's way more than just a word, that it is a way of life. It is a step above what you would normally see every day. It's like the analogy of the 2 pools, the community pool and the Olympic pool. And in the road less traveled. So you have to take that opportunity to see. You have many of us who will go into the community pool. You got the umbrella drinks, everybody's out there and it's having fun, and everything is easy. But then in that Olympic pool, there's no bottom. And in the community pool is safe. It's in levels. You can go here. It's really shallow. If you don't want to go to the deep, you don't have to go to the deep. But in the Olympic pool, this pool is filled with a lot of mess. And Olympic sized pool is very deep. So you are forced to go from one side to the other. And if you stop, you sink. So you have to go through all your mess to get to that other side, the road less traveled, to understand what it is to be a gentleman. And it begins with looking at yourself and a lot of the ideologies, a lot of the dogma, a lot of the bad understanding of what it is to be a man. All that has to be addressed first.
Yeah.
The first thing is addressing everything that was taught that was toxic, that was counterproductive. A lot of tradition, because children learn where they live. If you come from an abusive household, that needs to be addressed.
Yeah.
If you're used to fussing and cussing and arguing and this, and don't know how to reason, then that needs to be addressed. First thing is, like I said, it goes back to the mental health and emotional health. That's the first part of becoming a gentleman, is addressing the man in the mirror.
Yeah.
And understanding who's there to be your external truth. If you don't have someone that can be your external truth, that could tell you about you and you can receive it and do something with it, then those are mentors. First thing about being a gentleman is surrounding yourself with other gentlemen, those who are more mature.
Yeah.
Having that village, or having that camaraderie of men who will come together and not teach you dysfunction, teach you how to function. Get rid of all of this so you can function.
Yeah.
So addressing communication, addressing do you have the capacity to listen? Are you listening to learn? Are you listening to defend? Are you listening how to know when to be the collaborator and know when to be the competitor? Everything you do, if you're competing, and sometimes you're competing with the mate, your woman in your life, instead of being a collaborator. That right there, all that right there are things that we need to learn. We need to be teaching how to reason, how to understand, how to be able to communicate effectively, and not communicating due to self-preservation. Okay, I don't like what you said. Now I gotta, or hiding. Because many men shut down. Many of us do just shut down. We stop talking. We go into a place, and the next thing you know, we'll just walk away with it unaddressed. So this is what I say, the tear. You got to handle the tear, because wounds cause infections. Infections cause diseases, and diseases causes death. Okay? And how the analogy works is the wound is the deep hurt that you've experienced in your life. Okay? And once I finish it, you can clearly see on many platforms how it works. So this wound has been unaddressed.
Yeah.
So it's infecting you. The infection is the bitterness, the anger, the communication and hostility. But then you get on a platform, and everybody you touch, that's the disease. The disease of your infection, your wound, unaddressed wound, now spreads on these platforms. And then what that do is it then causes death. Death is nothing more than separation. So now you see yourself separate from people in your life, and now you are spreading this death.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't want to be here. I don't want to work with him. Don't talk to this person because they got this. And really, if everybody's saying the same thing about you, then there has to be some truth to it. And being a gentleman is listening and understanding and having that true in your face moment of being able to say, look, there's got to be some truth to this. I need to sit and I need to start addressing.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that's the beginning part, is I would say acceptance is the first thing. Acceptance is a key. Accepting that you are not who you say you are, and you do need help, and you cannot do it alone. You need mentors in your life.
Yeah.
You need men to come into your life and help you in the mentor relationship. Like I tell my son's like, Dad, why does it feel like this? Why? I said, son, when mentorship is training, and tell me anytime when training, if you're physical training or if you working on a math equation that you don't understand, is that sometimes it causes you to have a headache. You get sore after you finish working out, you're going to feel it.
Yeah.
It's going to be uncomfortable before you get to the point of application in your life. When you got it down and you can just move freely with it, then it becomes comfortable. But if you don't allow men to come into your life and tell you about you, not in a way that's demeaning, but in a way that is productive, because you can't have this chip on your sleeve, because many of us do have a chip on our sleeve. Well, no one ever told me that. Well, you're learning now.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm glad you mentioned that, because it's really never too late to learn that, especially if it's something you desire. When you are tired of being tired, and you're sick of being sick, and you're sick and tired of being sick and tired, you start to try to find some ways to remedy that. So talk to me about, what was your personal experience with that? Because I can imagine that it's hard to pour from a vessel that's empty, and you've been filled with life experiences, but also men that have taken the time to mentor you. So this might be your way of paying it forward, and definitely seeing the fruit of that labor in your son. So how was it for you? Who was the guy that you could think about to say, you know what, this was a man who made sure that in love, I became a man?
My father, Earl Mitchell. But I gave him a hard time.
Yeah.
I gave him a very hard time. And I could say where it came from. As a kid, I was in the foster system. I was awarded a state in Texas. And at that time, my mom went to prison. We were pretty much, like I said, the ward, family, my siblings, we were all scattered. And they asked me, where did you want to go? My first request was, I want to go with my dad. Somebody find my dad, my biological dad, find him, and this. And I waited. And I waited. And I waited. And I waited. And nothing happened. My social worker, he was very careful how he handled me with this situation. But in that, the disappointment hit so heavy that after that, I was done. It was like, I'm done with any guy that's going to come into my life as any type of authority figure. I'm going to do this myself. I'm saying this as a young teenager.
Mm-hmm.
I don't need no man. My dad don't want to be around. I don't need no man. And did I give my dad a hard time? Yes, I did. He got a lot of misplaced frustration. He got a lot of misplaced anger and hurt. He loved me through it. Did he discipline me? Yes. Did he take time out with me? Yes.
Yeah.
He was a man of duty. He was in the service. So sometimes he had to go. And then because he had to go, internally, I got upset. Like, he ain't here and I need him here for this, this, this. And it's a lot of things that he received that was unintentional.
Mm-hmm.
But as we began to go and as we began to develop a father-son relationship, I began to see, he began to show me through his actions how to be that guy, how to be responsible, how to be with women. And I saw that through how he was with my mom.
Yeah.
How he adored her. And to this day, it's the same way. And how he was with us, riding bikes, sharing time, taking me on bowling, outings, different things, making sure that to the best of his knowledge and his abilities, that I received fathering.
Mm-hmm.
That in return kind of broke away a lot of the hardness. And I began to see him as not as that guy, but I began to see him, he became my Superman. At that point, looked up to him. My interest was basketball, and he was a very good basketball player. So I looked up to him in that, and I began to see the different ways of how he was. Even though, there were sometimes I bucked, even with the buck, and he stood his ground.
Mm-hmm.
He taught me, certain values to have. And then along with, and after graduation, then there was other men that come into my life that everyone speaks in part to show me how to be a better me.
Yeah. Yeah.
And even when I made one of the worst decisions of my life, which could have potentially ruined my life, even in that, I decided to go to the streets and hustle, turn of events, end up doing time, 2.5 years in prison. And while in prison, I didn't know what to do, what to expect. There were men that came into my life in prison.
Yeah.
They would say, "Hey, youngster, hey, youngin." They know, "Hey, youngin, come here." "Hey, youngin, come here."
Wow.
And I'd be on the court, because we know the basketball court is like one of the worst places in prison, because there's so much testosterone, pride, and going on, and all this competitive edge. And he was like, "You don't need to hang out with him. You need to watch him. You're a short timer. Come here. Don't do this. Don't do that." And when I tell you, they were like some uncles to me up in there. It was 4 gentlemen. They saw the potential and saw where I was. "You're not like everybody else. We know you did something stupid.
Yeah.
So we're going to look out." And right when I was leaving, they said, "You got to pay. You owe us." I was like, "Okay, what you want me to put on your books?" They said, "Nah, nah. You don't owe us no money. You owe us to go out there and be a success. We'll never see a day. Some of us, by the time we get out there, we won't be able to do anything. It won't be able to be effective like you can be. You a short timer. You get out there and you need to go out there." And how did he put it? I'll call him by his nickname. His name was Peanut. Peanut was like, "You better get out there. You better do something, make something of yourself. You better help somebody else like we helping you. Because you come back in here, we not here. We invisible to you." So it was those type of moments that they instilled. They talked to me. It was like strong. It was went in with this boyish attitude, and I came out as a grown man. As far as my mentality of getting out, handling your business, this is what you don't do. I purposely took pictures while I was in there, and I didn't hide it from my son. He was young, and I showed him, said, "This is what Dad did, so you don't have to. I tried to do this.
Yeah.
Don't do that." So it's everything that they were telling me what I needed to do. And one guy suggested, he said, "You take pictures, you show your children. Don't try to hide this from your kids when you have kids. You show your kids the dumb things you did so they won't have to." All these things, all these little tidbits. And even in ministry, like I said, Bishop Dixon, what he did, as far as teaching me in ministry when I was in ministry, what I needed to do,
Yeah.
and being responsible there and growing in ministry. So it was just a lot that men that had hands on, and some were for long term, and some just came in just a week, a day, a month, just enough time just to give me a lesson to understand. And I was the type of person who always listened to the older folks. Ever since I was a little kid in Mississippi, hanging around over there at the little juke joint, and they come out.
Not a juke joint.
Well,
You're showing your
I
age now.
call it a juke joint. Yeah, wait, it was a golden 50 this year, a whole
Let's
golden
go,
50.
50. I'm here for it.
Yeah, this is the golden year. But
I
yes,
love it.
being in Columbus, Mississippi, growing up there as a kid, born in Morningside, the Morningside apartments, in the apartment, and coming up to this point, going through everything I've been through, and now here to speak with you. But those are I would say my father was the most effective in my life as far as a man, because he went through what no one else could go through. And I was fortunate enough to choose my parents after being in a foster care system, and they accepted, and he really worked hard. I gave him some days where he felt some kind of way, but in the long run, my dad really put in the work to make sure that I was developed into that guy, to a gentleman. Because you look at my dad, everything he does, he's a helpful guy, stand-up guy. And I never did want to be the one that disappointed him, even though I had my moments. But
Boy,
those moments now, yeah, I did. I'm disappointed many times as a teenager, yes. But then there were the times as an adult when I heard my dad look at me and say, "Son, I'm proud of you." That is I think that is the biggest thing a son can hear from his father.
Oh, yeah.
Is to look at him and say, "Son, I'm proud of you." That's better than any award, any accolade. Just to hear that your dad say that he's proud of you and the man that you become, you about feel like you can kick through brick after that.
Can't say. Yeah. And so you were able to get that from him.
Oh, yes. And when he first said that, I felt unstoppable at that point.
Yeah.
Okay, there's nothing I can't accomplish because my dad got my back. And he said, like, "Son, I'm praying for you, son. You got to hear him say, 'Son, you have my blessing.'" Okay, I'm good. You know what I'm saying? It's not that I can't do it without his blessing. It's just something about having the father's affirmation. And even if your father's not in your life, there is a man in your life who has that fathering role, that mentor, that just hearing that guy that is your point of influence to say, "I'm proud of you and keep going. You have my blessing." It's something about that gives validity to that boy or to that man and what he's doing. And even today, you know what I'm saying? So that's why I say the most influential, the one, and he worked the hardest in my life to try to bring all that dysfunction I had to a close.
Yeah. And what's interesting about your story is because he had your back the whole time. And there was a time when you couldn't see it, and so after a lifetime of, just having to figure things out, as we all do, now in hindsight, you can recognize the value of this person who invested in you when you were trying to push away that investment. So talk to me about the transition, because I know so many young men who might not have their biological father, but there is a presence, there is a fatherhood, there is a brotherhood of older men who surround them. But because they're not getting it from their biological father, they're still sitting in that seat of rejection. Like, I don't know if you love me for real. And sometimes you just don't want to hear it because you're trying to get it from this source that doesn't have the capacity to give it to you. You know what I mean?
Right.
So talk to me about what was the transition between Brother Mitchell had your back the whole time, but it still wasn't enough to keep you out of some of the decisions you made. But then you get to a place to where it's starting to sink in and it makes sense. And now I can see this man as an asset, and I really do want to make him proud now? What did that look like for you?
It's like this here. Nothing happens until something happens.
Ooh.
So for me, I had to go through certain things to deal with certain individuals or come across certain individuals who just didn't care.
Yeah.
You know, and to experience betrayal in someone you trust and like have someone, but then at the same time being able to pick up the phone and then call my dad and be like, okay, son, let me just put this in your ear. Even when I don't want to hear it, he's talking, he's pouring. And it came to the point, the transition happened. It's kind of it wasn't like a magical moment. It was just a day that I looked up and I just said, you know what? I need to stop. I need to stop. When you go back and you have that one moment, there's always a pivotal moment that makes you have a flashback about where it could be versus where it is. You know, and when you have that I had like some entitlement, even though it's kind of this false sense of entitlement, feeling like I'm adopted, I'm special, I'm this. No. I'm adopted, but I'm becoming a part of a bigger picture. Life doesn't center around me. And I was living life like I was the center because I was the adopted son. I'm the only son in this and I'm this. No. Once I began to see that I am not the nucleus, I am a part of the bigger picture, and stop having the false expectations and life dealing with me in that way, then I began to see that began to have the transition. And then here's the other part, and this has nothing, no bearing on my father and my relationship. It was this here. I really understood what it was to be a son when I had a son.
Oh.
You know what I'm saying? It was seeing Solomon develop and seeing how obedient he was to me and discipline and correction. And there was one day, I was having Solomon clean his room. It had to be about 3. And I was like, I said, son, I want the room to be nice and neat. What did I say? Nice and neat. I was like, okay. So I said, I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna check the room and see how it's gonna do. See what we're gonna do next. See how we're gonna do it. And then when I'm walking away, this is exactly what I heard. I wish you were such an obedient son to me as he is to you.
Ooh.
And that stung. That right there.
That hit me just right now. Like, wait, hold on. Circle back. Wait, let me.
So
wow.
I had to, it hit.
Okay.
And then that made me think about my spiritual life.
Yeah.
And my natural life. How I am with my dad. How have I been with my father? And that was the pivotal moment for me. That was the moment that told the truth. When I saw how Solomon was and I had that bug hit my ear, just as clear as we're talking, that is how audible it was in my life. I wish you were just as obedient son to me as he is to you.
Wow.
That was it for me. And after that point, I began to see I need to, at this point in my life, being a father, I need to understand, because there was a saying that many older folks would say was, I know more about being young than you know about being old, right? So then I had to put all those together. And now, when my dad calls, and he's the type of person that if he does call or when he does speak, he only speaks when there's meaning. He's not just rambling on and small talk. He's not that type of individual. My dad speaks when there's something to be said.
Yeah.
So when he calls or when he texts, it's a stop.
Yeah.
Because some, like you said, some of us don't have that father who will pick up the phone and say, son, how you doing? This. Okay, let me respond quickly. No delay. Because now I'm seeing my father now, the value of fathering, the value of sonship, the value in connecting and having that connection of being an obedient son, not obedient in the way of just naive and being taken advantage of. That happens too. It's not manipulation. This is the obedience of understanding wisdom, being given knowing, understanding when the warning is being put out, and understanding where here's a little nugget for your son just to consider. And the obedience is considering it. Just consider it. You don't have to do it, but just consider it. So now understanding who he is and his role to me, and my role to him as a son. You understand?
Tell me this. How did it get to a place where, in addition to pouring into your son, you have extended this? Like, talk to us. What is Gentleman One-on-One? Because there are just so many amazing things about it, and I want you to tell the people about it.
Okay, so it started off, when I was in Raleigh, North Carolina, I've always been a youth activist, working with people with youth, and my focus has always been the young boys and just helping them. And the biggest place that you could be most effective was on the basketball court. I played ball.
Did you?
Still do. Still do.
You?
Still do. Don't play. But
I owe you a game. I do remember that.
Yes.
I got you.
So on the basketball court, when you have, they don't listen to nobody that can't play. You get on the court and you're just horrible. But if you have somewhat of a game and you show yourself, now they're looking at you, and that has always been the open door for me. Like the icebreaker is on the court. That was one way. And then in community activists and youth, I've always went to things where it used to be called, it was an organization that helped at-risk young men in court. And when they come out of court, they would go to this and we would have these meetings. And this is where I was able to give insight, understanding, and being able to relate. Now, if you have not experienced some of the things that they've experienced, because I have experienced the abuse, experienced being the delinquent, experienced all these little things and being a hard head at one point, I'm able to relate. Because if you can't relate, then you can only empathize, and empathy only goes so far. But being experienced, that opened the door for it. Man, I had a couple of them asking, and had one in particular, like, yo, can you mentor me? And then that started that was the question. Can you mentor me? Man, you mind if I call you? If someone say they mentored it, man, can I have your number? I would like to talk with you, man. And I was starting to get calls. And I'd be on the phone speaking with them, and we would talk, and we would have these sessions. And then there was one day, the Gentleman One-on-One, I said, you know what? I need to do something different. And this was like during the COVID time.
Yeah.
Seems like that's when the podcast and everything was just blowing up. And I said, there's always been a platform for women when it comes to when it comes to podcasts and the shows. But we really don't have anything for men besides sports and men talking about their gripes with women. Had enough of that. But how much do we talk about the sensitive topics that's within a man? And that's when Gentleman One-on-One was birthed. It started off as I wanted to do something different, which was I would invite the men and we'd talk about the three kings at the table, myself and two men. We'll sit down, I would cook a meal, because I love cooking, and I'll present them a meal, a gourmet style meal, and they would sit down and break bread and talk. Because over a meal, that's where a lot of things are released over food.
Yeah.
So being able to sit there and talk and eat. And the main thing was you have an older person serving the younger gentleman. So they're seeing this guy is not only serving you food, but he's also serving you wisdom and understanding.
Yeah.
And also being in a place to learn from them. I feed you and you feed back. That's the food for relationship, is fellowship. So now we're fellowshipping, feeding and feeding back. And that's where Gentleman One-on-One came in. It started off there, and then it just went into a way of life and just connecting. So I went from the US, did a couple of sessions when I went over in Africa. They want to have a sit down over there in South Africa, in Johannesburg. And we had a wonderful session of Gentlemen One-on-One over there. And they kind of find out they've been paying attention to the Gentlemen One-on-Ones, not only in South Africa, it was Nigeria, Kenya, and a couple of places. But then I began to move and shift. So I said, okay, I can't do the podcast, but I can keep up with online, sharing tidbits of information, sharing wisdom, sharing nuggets, and just showing a lifestyle of what it is to be a gentleman. Now we're finishing up my book, Gentlemen One-on-One, and also finishing up my book, He Became Love. 2 books that will be finished this year, which talks about, 1, my journey, and 2, how to be that gentleman, not just protocol and fashion and all those things, no, but how to become the gentleman from the inside out. So, and He Became Love, again, understanding what love is from the inside out. So now we're at that point where you have to train up your replacements. And you know what I'm saying? So you have to live your life every day as if it's your last. So you share what you have to share, you document what you need to document, and now you're training up your replacement. Okay, someone else need to take this because I'm only going to go but so far. Yeah. Now you got to have the one that's going to take this and take it further. You know what I'm saying? So it is not, like I said, it's not popular. It's not drama, but it is something to get all the drama out of you.
Oh, yeah. And I think that's so necessary because this culture that we're living in right now is very competitive, and it speaks to father and son against each other, mother against daughter. I mean, I wish it were as simple as nation against nation, but when you have success in your family and your elders are jealous of that, right? Or feel like they are, I don't know, just so many different layers to that. I love that what you promote is, actually, I do want you to stand on my shoulders and go further. I am creating a package and a legacy to where you can take it and run with it and everybody pay it forward, as opposed to, hey, this is mine, figure out what you got to do for yourself, because, you know, and those collective societies live like that. So over here in the West, you know, we are very individualistic, but I love that you spent some time in the motherland, because that collective mindset, when you are living a community that is about community, you start to see yourself as a part of a whole. And when a part is fractured, the whole suffers. So what can we all do to get together to create wholeness in the whole? So speak to the gentleman who does have an opportunity. Maybe it's a nephew, maybe it's his own son, maybe it is his position at his job. We've got teachers and principals and just coworkers who notice that there's a single mom there whose sons need haircuts. Like, what can mentorship look like for the average man that has the heart and the capacity to pay it forward? What can mentorship look like for them?
It could be multiple ways. I would say for a lot of us, if you don't know how to begin, the first thing to do is look at those who have the same interests as you. Barbers, sometimes it's sports. Many times, I think for the most part, for many of us, it's sports. Now we're getting to the point where we have a lot of we have a technology-driven generation here. Yeah. So for those who understand what it is, just using what you have to connect. And once you connect, then you have to I'll say like this. If you're not empowered by the people, then you have no power with the people. Okay? So you can't just bust in. Yeah. You have to introduce yourself, get yourself in a place where you have established trust. Yeah. And once you establish that trust, then they'll empower you to be in their life, but don't try to force it. And once that window is closed, respect the window. And when it opens back up, then you pour out. But it has to be a level of respect on both ends. Because you're the mentor, you are not the one that's coming aggressive. Yeah. Understand how to cater to the person's needs, who you're connecting with, and then get to understanding them. It's not about pandering, it's about connecting. So I would say the first thing is establishing trust in whatever way that you understand that person, that young man.
Yeah. Yeah. I love it. I love it so much. Dr. BU, you've been such a blessing, and you have
Well,
dealt with all of my technical difficulties tonight. And I want to say thank you for that. So, where can the people find you? Because I'm pretty sure that after listening to this, folks are going to want to follow your journey and also get some great recipes. Where can everyone find you?
okay, on TikTok, IG, and also Facebook is all the same. Dr. B Ultimate. So Dr. B is BE in Ultimate. So not hard to find. You can connect with me on those platforms. I'm always here. I'm always open to answer questions. There's no such thing as a dumb question. So open up. We can talk. We can discuss on a level that is productive. So I'm not about tearing down. I'm about building up.
I love it. I love it. It is Dr. B Ultimate on IG and TikTok. Please go follow him and make sure that you get
Yes.
the books. Once he writes the books and finish the books, all that kind of stuff. And again, if you have any questions on how to be a mentor, definitely reach out to him. He knows all of the things. So thank you once again, sir. I
Thank you
appreciate
for
it.
having me on this show. Thank you
Of
very much. I
course,
do
of
appreciate
course, of course. And I owe you a game of 1-on-1 and just get your life together so you can win, or at least try
it. We'll do that.
to. Okay. See you soon.